You mentioned music business, and you wrote another book, DJs Mean Business. I haven't read it, but I get the feeling that most DJs are like most musicians, where they care about their art more than they care about their business. And this was to address that.
Yes, yes. I think you're correct, and it can be challenging because, as a creative, and I believe that pretty much all of us are creative, you really don't want to get tied down with numbers and accounting and billing and marketing and things. But unfortunately, you have to do that, especially as you're growing your career, whether it be a business as a DJ or a career as an artist or musician. Like, you got to figure out how you're going to market yourself, how you're going to grow your email list through a lead magnet, get your website, and just also learn the business of music. I teach music business at Cal State University Fullerton. The first day of class, I go over the two sides of a song, whether it be 200% the music composition and the song recording side. And it's a fact. It's been proven like 85 to 90% of current artists don't even know that. And that's basic. And that's what you know. And then you get into publishing and how you need to hold on to your publishing. So if 5 or 6 or 7 years later you want your song placed in a movie, well, that can pay you long money. Or, and I always forget her name, Running Up That Hill, Kate Bush. She's a great example because 30 years after she released that song, it reverted back to her through her reversion and her label. So now she gets to place it in Stranger Things and she gets to cash out and get a lot more money than she would have. But we just have to continue to educate the artist on the music business because it's changing so fast that they need to stay up to date.
Tell me about how you get into being a DJ.
I heard Biz Markie at a club in Washington, D.C., DJ Biz Markie, may he rest in peace. And it was amazing. Quigley's nightclub, we were down underneath like this bank, old bank in DC, and he had an amazing set. Part of his set was he played a lot of TV theme show songs. And we were singing along, whether and back in the day it was like What's Happening, Facts of Life, Golden Girls, back when they had like theme songs for TV shows where you would sing along.
Yeah, you'd
Like a
remember them. Yeah.
30-minute set, was it Facts Life? You take the good, you take the bad, or Golden Girls, thank you for being a friend, all those. And it was amazing. I said, I want to do what he does. But initially, I thought there wasn't a legitimate career. And so I went and continued to work for Marriott. But then every city I would live in, as I moved around, I would go see the DJs and watch. And finally, when I got to LA, I first taught myself how to DJ. Then I went to Scratch Academy and learned all the fundamentals and build a foundation. So that's kind of a story about how I got into DJing and then how I continue to grow.
But you made a big career choice. You went from corporate to creative.
I did. It's not easy. It's very hard. Took a massive pay cut, but somehow, some way, it still was able to work out. And then, I was able to get a professor job along with being a DJ, which was really kind of life changing. And it just continues to evolve. Released the first book, then released the second book. Now I coach musicians and artists and 9 to 5 creatives if they want to monetize their artwork. So it continues to evolve along the way. And I'm in a very good place right now.
Amani Experience. I was looking at your website, and it took me a bit until I understood that you basically run an agency for DJs.
Yeah, yeah. Now, I probably book less events currently for other DJs than myself, but back in its peak, I was booking a lot of events and everything. So it's like an agency for DJs. Still have a bunch on my roster. We primarily do like corporate events and then a few clubs or lounges. That's generally the DJ business. Exactly.
I'm wondering, how similar is that to I don't want to say normal talent agency, but a regular talent agency? Are there quirks?
Yeah, they're quirks. You really have to trust the talent that you're going to put out there that's going to be kind of working under your name. And you have to trust them first that they're going to show up on time, do a good job. They're also going to not try to steal clients. So, there is some quirks. It is challenging. That's probably why I do a little bit less. I'm more focused on other things, but it's still a part of the business and it works well once you get some good people and good team members.
Give me the essence of DJs Mean Business.
It takes you through the time slots of a DJ set from 10 p.m. to 2 a.m. at a famous club in LA. And each 15 minutes, it relates to growing a business. So, for example, 10 p.m. to 10:15, you're just arriving. So you're trying to figure out who's there and keep them there because you want to grow the audience for the whole day. In business, you're trying to figure out who's your ideal avatar, go after them and grow from there. If we fast forward to 11 p.m., Something always goes wrong in the DJ booth, whether it's a dusty needle, computer issues, speaker issues. So you always have to learn how to pivot and adjust, but the music can never stop. Same thing in business. Maybe you're selling a certain product, but another service is more popular. Well, how do you shift, but don't close down the business and start it up again? Then you get to midnight, which is prime time. How do you keep the hits going, hit after hit, keep the crowd going, singing along while still cycling through the bar? And in business, how do you grow revenue week over week, month over month, year over year? Just keep the revenue growing. That's kind of the first three. Then at 2 a.m., it's over. So then you get feedback. When I was DJing, I would drive for Uber. So I would leave the club, turn on my Uber meter, pick up someone most of the time from the club I was just DJing at, take them home. While we were driving home, I'd be like, oh, so what do you think of the music, the DJ? They'd say the honest opinion. Then right before I dropped them off, I say, by the way, that DJ was me, so thank you. And it was kind of fun. That was a fun thing. Same thing in business. You have to get feedback. What's working? What's not working? How can you improve? So that's generally 4 chapters, but there's like I think there's like 16 chapters that goes through different 15-minute slots and tells you a story along the way.